Okay, hi, I'm here with Chris Furnish. My name's Rachel Donlin, and I'm going to ask Chris a couple of questions to explain about what's been going on. And we're going to smoke a little cannabis that grew right here in DC. You can see some of these fine plants in this outdoor grow that's legal in DC. And,
all because of DCMJ.
Yeah, DCMJ has legalized cannabis here in the district for home grow. And so we got a little early harvest and cured some. And so I'm going to pass that off to you.
So my name's Chris Furnish, and I am the co-founder of MDMJ with Adam Eidinger, who's also the co-founder. And we started this group to fight for cannabis users in the state of Maryland. We're fighting for full legalization, and we're very much involved in the politics and the candidates that are running who support our platform. So,
Chris, I wanted to ask you a few questions about some things that are going on. Tell me about, you know, I figured that maybe we can talk about what happens when we try to meet with our Congressman up in the 1st District of Maryland, Andy Harris. Can you talk about that a little?
Sure. Well, on October 2nd, DCMJ and MDMJ members showed up at the Longworth House Building in DC at Andy Harris's office with intentions of sitting down and speaking with our congressman just about marijuana.
Outside the offices of Andy Harris, let's head on down.
And we're peaceful. We went there just expecting a meeting, and things got out of control.
There he is. He's right here. Hi, Andy.
Excuse me.
Can we talk to you?
Excuse me. Andy. I'm here to speak to you. I just wanted to talk to me. They won't let us in. My foot's stuck. Oh, yeah. Can I please come in? Excuse me, Mr.
Excuse me, please step back. I don't want you to get your foot hurt. Yeah, here, let me get that.
My foot is
All right,
stuck.
please move your foot.
She can't. My foot is stuck. She can't move her foot. I didn't jam my foot in the door. I was walking in and they closed the door behind me.
We staged an overdose in front of his office.
I'm dying from prohibition. These doctors want me to take opioids, and I just want to use cannabis. This is for the people who are poor, elderly, the sick, the abused, people in federal housing who are veterans, are adult students in federal housing. These people's lives can be changed the next day because of somebody like Andy Harris who doesn't care about opiate overdoses. This is killing me.
And I'm here to overdose today on behalf of my friend Elijah Moore, who overdosed on opiates. I'm here in memory of my friend who will never come back, where no amount of money will ever bring my friend back. I'm here to overdose today in front of Andy Harris's office to represent what he's doing.
Here lies Rachel Donlin. She fought for the Constitution. She fought for the rights of so many people. When she was offered no other way to treat with cannabis, even though she had excruciating pain, she was forced to use opioids. This is Rachel, another generation of the epidemic of opioids.
This is my friend, Elijah Vincent Moore. Born March 17, 1989, overdosed April 11, 2017. I never thought it would happen to me. I never imagined it'd just be another one of the hundreds of thousands of people who lost their friends to opioids. On that early morning of April 11, 2017, I got the phone call that Elijah was dead.
To represent how his terrible views on marijuana are killing people every day. And we basically got the door slammed on us and spent the night in jail for free speech. And just, like I said, just for simply wanting to meet with our congressman, which is why we elect these people into office, so that they can work with us on what we want to see changed in our communities. And it's just wild how we're doing this all the American way. We're lobbying and we get treated like this, and with no results, you know, there was no satisfaction in the results of this interaction with Mr. Harris, and we still haven't heard from him. We still want to talk with him. We still want to meet with him, but he's refusing to meet with us. So as activists, we will do what we have to do, and that is to keep protesting.
Yeah, I mean, keeping pressure up is important. It's important to continue protesting and also just trying to peacefully meet with Congressman Harris. And I think that eventually the Congressman might meet with us, but you know, he has that option. But in the likely chance that he won't, like, our only option might be to what? You know, we'll have to vote him out.
Exactly.
We really need to get people out there and vote. You know, help
Absolutely.
us.
And that's a big thing that MDMJ has been doing on the Eastern Shore. We're based in Salisbury, Maryland. We do a lot of work with the LSPC, which is the Lower Shore Progressive Caucus. We go out canvassing every day, and you know, we're very passionate about what we do, because as progressives, we want change, and the only way to get change is to use our tools, our voice, our votes, to get out there and make the change. We can't just sit around and expect things to happen and not put any effort to get there. So as an organizer, as a progressive, as someone who had no idea, you know, was not educated in politics at all whatsoever before the beginning of this year, I want to encourage everyone to get into politics now. You know, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but we all need to know what's going on. We all need to stay educated, and we all need to know who's representing us. And if they're no longer representing the people, they have to go. And how other way will we know these people have to go if we don't pay attention? So young people, get out the vote. Tell your friends to come out and vote. Uber's giving out free rides on election day, so please take advantage of that. Get to your poll locations and go vote.
And as for what's next for MDMJ and DCMJ, you know, as I'm sitting here filming this on your phone, I can see messages coming in asking if you're going to be out canvassing with these people. So can you talk a little bit about how we can flip the first?
You know, the only way this blue wave is going to happen is if people take time out of their day, even if it's just an hour to phone bank or to go canvass and knock on doors. I promise you, it's not the worst thing in the world. And after you're done, it's very humbling, and you get a lot out of it. Knocking on doors, knowing who's in your community, and knowing the concerns of the people in your community is very humbling, and it empowers you, you know, to bring more people together and get more people organized and more people out there excited about election day. That's what's important, is getting people excited about this. Ben Jealous, anyone who lives in Maryland, please vote for Ben Jealous for governor.
Why do you say that?
Ben Jealous is a huge progressive. I support Ben Jealous for many, many reasons.
Came in support of MDMJ to our second meeting.
Yes, he showed up at our second MDMJ meeting, just to personally let us know that he supports what we are doing, and he promises us that if he is elected governor, he will
legalizing cannabis for adult use.
The thing about that is not only giving people an alternative to opiates and alcohol, but what he plans on doing with that tax money that's generated.
We will provide universal full-day pre-K to Maryland.
And I think everyone with children, even people without children, would all agree that every child deserves the same opportunity in education. It shouldn't matter what street you live on or how much money your parents have. Every child should have the same opportunity to get a good education. And children and families are suffering today. And we actually have a governor that cares. and he's promised us that he is going to fix what Larry Hogan has done to this state. So please, like I said, I encourage everybody to go out and vote for Ben Jealous November 6th.
What about Jesse? Like, what's he doing? Tell us about like what happened the other day.
Jesse, you know,
He's running against Andy Harris
Jesse's
directly.
running for Congress in the 1st District of Maryland against Andy Harris, who has talked every time at any public forum about the opiate crisis, but kind of skips over what his solution is to it. And I finally got the chance at an event at Salisbury University. I finally got to ask him.
I was curious to know, I've heard you speak a few times at different events, and...
Can you remind me your name? I know we've met a bunch. Your card's in my pocket.
I'm Chris. I'm with MDMJ. I'm the co-founder of MDMJ. I'm curious to know, because we're all aware of the opiate epidemic, and Maryland's 5 times higher than the national average. We know that Andy Harris has his hands in big pharmaceutical companies' pockets. What do you plan on doing about the opiate epidemic? Is marijuana involved in your plan? And if you're elected, do you plan on removing the rider Andy Harris put on DC?
That's a 3-part question. I'm going to try to remember all 3 parts. Question 1 was, what is my plan to address the opioid epidemic? All right, let me start there. And then you might have to ask it. I might have to remind you. Yeah, I mean, the first thing I can do as a candidate is what I've already done, which is commit not to take any corporate PAC money. The second thing I can do as a candidate is to go around the district and sit down with experts in each of our counties and understand what's happening. Because I think, I know, the counties are taking a little bit of a different approach. That's okay. And the Midshore Purple Month began, it is expanding, people understand it, it speaks to them. Cecil County has taken an entirely different approach. They had about 40 organizations, nonprofit, for-profit, and government, all working on this issue. And they had about 27 task forces, local, state, and a little bit federal. The political leaders using leadership realized that there's a lot of duplication of efforts and resources were scarce, so let's get everybody around a table. They went from 40 organizations to 25, and 27 task forces to 20. Simultaneously, they're also suing the pharmaceutical industry. They hope to get a settlement, bring that money back to what they're already doing. In office, and by the way, if I can do one thing in 2 years, it's on the opioid epidemic. In office, some of the folks in this room are old enough to remember the tobacco oversight hearings. There's no reason we can't bring the pharmaceutical executives to Washington. This job comes with a camera and a pulpit when you want it. And drag their feet to the fire and ask tough questions. I think what I could do is bring federal funding back. I mean, we know generally that there's no panacea, no easy button we can hit that will solve all of this. But we do know generally what approaches work. Prevention, treatment, and recovery. And I think part of it is how we talk about those things. Prevention, we know that it's too late to start talking about it in college. It's too late talking about it in high school. I mean, 1 in 5 18-year-olds in Dorchester County right now have tried heroin. You got to start in middle school or lower school. I don't know if it's one day a week, once a week, once a day, once a month. We have to figure that out. Treatment, the 30-day treatment, the Betty Ford style 30-day treatment that we learned from alcoholism doesn't apply here. It's just not going to work. We have to recognize that. And recovery is not just having somebody walk out of a center and expecting them to be okay. They need employment, they need a support network, they need a whole network ready to help them from day 1 through day, you name it. So the one thing I could do is bring federal funding back to the state and district and let the counties take the lead on how they want to do it. Okay, that was opioids. Medical marijuana, or marijuana.
Yes.
I would support a medical marijuana initiative. I would support a decriminalization initiative at the federal level and let the states take it from there. The Andy Harris, there's a lot of things that when Harris goes, Colvin is not going to be part of, and I would include the rider as part of that conversation.
He was very supportive of legalization and that he would remove the rider that Andy Harris put on DC laws for funding for recreational sales and purchases of cannabis. So I was very pleased with that. I encourage everybody to be more educated on who's running, why you support them, and get people out to vote, educate them.
Ask your senators to co-sponsor
HR 6152.
which is why we were trying to meet with Andy Harris too.
Right. So
one of the reasons.
HR 6152 is the Marijuana and Federally Assisted Housing Parity Act of 2018, which would protect individuals who rely on government housing, people in Section 8, veterans, the sick, the elderly, the poor, the abused, college students in legal states from being evicted for simple cannabis possession in their buildings. We want a solution to this, some kind of designated smoking area so that cannabis users are no longer being discriminated against, simply because cannabis is still federally illegal and federal housing doesn't allow people to medicate with marijuana, and it's bogus. And
Right.
people's whole lives are being turned upside down, and
They can lose their home
they
overnight.
can lose everything.
All
And we
right.
just don't think that's right. So if you agree, please, this will help 5 million Americans. Please call your senators and your congresspeople, your representatives, and tell them to co-sponsor HR 6152.
Thank you for everything you've done and your sacrifices.
Shout out to DCMJ and MDMJ. Please go like and follow Facebook and Twitter. Check out their website. Sign up to our email list. And get involved, guys. It's awesome making
So
change.
fun.